Hey everybody, Miss Sandlin here. We are going to review what Miss Saunders taught us on Tuesday, which was our last math Zoom meeting. It's kind of happy sad, but I'm glad those of you that came were able to make it. For those of you that didn't or couldn't, or just need help answering some questions, I'm going to give you all a review today. So we have got two things that Miss Saunders taught us. She taught us the area and perimeter of right triangles and also the volume of rectangular prisms. So, let's start with the right triangle. Now, to find, first of all, right triangles are right because they have a perfect 90-degree angle in the corner. Now, it could be any corner. You know, triangles can be flipped any which way. But as long as it is a perfect L, a perfect 90 degrees, then it is a right triangle. Right triangles are helpful for us to understand what they are because right triangles means there's always like a perfect half of a square. Or, I shouldn't say square. Rectangle. Excuse me. So that's why I have these little dotted lines here. It's imaginary. That's not really there, but you can kind of visualize how that might look like a rectangle if we doubled it. But we're going to keep focusing on the triangle. To find the... Gosh, I'm sinking! There we go. To find the perimeter of a triangle, all you have to do is add up all three sides. So 6 plus 4 is 10, and 10 plus 8 is 18. And let's say that this is in centimeters. So the perimeter is 18 centimeters. It's rainy today, y'all, and that means there's like not as good light in here. So the perimeter is 18 centimeters. To find the area, your formula is going to be a little bit different. So this is what your formula for area is going to look like. So area of a right triangle, I'm not even going to draw this shape. I thought it was going to be cute, but it's not happening, is the base times the height, base times height, divided by 2. So the base is the flat part at the bottom. The height is the tall part on the side. This diagonal line is called the hypotenuse. That's just a fun fact. You don't have to know it for this formula, but for future reference, it is the diagonal line is the hypotenuse. So we've got base and height. So multiply the base times the height for our formula. 4 times 6 is 24. Now we just do 24 divided by 2. And if you know your facts, then you know 24 divided by 2 is 12. So that means our area is 12 centimeters. And remember what we do with area, it is centimeters squared. Okay? Now I'm going to put some different numbers up here, and we'll do one more practice one, then I'll move to the rectangular prisms over there. And as usual, you will have to forgive my crazy drawings. I am not an art teacher. Okay, so I erased our numbers. Let's say that the hypotenuse is 10 centimeters. Our base is, I don't know, let's say 5 centimeters. And our height is 7. Okay. So to find the, and excuse me while I click out of this thing that popped up, we have to find the perimeter, which is just adding up all three sides. So 7 plus 10 is 17, plus 5 is 22. So that would be 22 centimeters. Now to find the area, I kept our formula down here for us. The area is the base times the height divided by 2. So for this one, you find the base, that's the flat part on the bottom, 5 centimeters times the height, the up and down one, not diagonal, don't use that one. So 5 times 7 is 35. Now I have to do 35 divided by 2, but ooh, we don't know that fact, so let's work it out. And as per the usual, I don't have room down here. Let me try over here this time. Oh, the glare here. I keep sinking. This chair I'm sitting in is broken, I'm sorry. What are we doing? 35 divided by 2. So 2 can go into 3 one time. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 can go into 15 7 times. And you're left with 1 as your remainder. Now we could keep going and make it a decimal, or we could make it a fraction. Depends on whatever the problem is asking for you to do. If it asks you to put your answers in decimal form, do that. But if it doesn't say, you can pick, or if it says put your answers in fraction form, do that. So I'll give you guys both so you can see what they look like. So with 1 as the remainder, in fraction form, this would be 17 and a half centimeters squared. And if we were to do it in fraction form, we know that 1/2, you should just know. If not, that's okay. 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5 or 0.50. So your answer for this one would be 17.5 centimeters squared. Alright, so there's the work I did. Sorry about the glares today, guys. And I'm going to erase the triangle side, and we'll get on to the rectangular prisms. Now, rectangular prisms are 3-dimensional shapes. In real life, we deal with 3-dimensional shapes more often than not, because that's what real life is. It's not flat. So finding the volume of something is pretty useful. Volume is just another word for capacity. It's how much something can hold. And when you are using volume, you are measuring how many cubes. So like if you guys have ever seen a Rubik's Cube, you hold it in your hand. It's not a flat piece of paper. How many cubes can fit into that shape? If you guys were here on our Zoom meeting, I gave you guys an example using Minecraft. And I built a cube that was 4 blocks by 3 blocks and 3 blocks high, and you would count how many blocks were in that whole thing to figure out what your cubic unit would be. So volume of rectangular prisms, you have to find out, and I'm sorry if I'm not the best at drawing 3D shapes. I tried. You have to find your width, your length, that's an ugly L, your length, and your height. So like how tall it is. And you just multiply those things together. So V, volume, equals length times width times height. And it's not too complicated. So width times length times height. I'm going to erase these now, and I'll put some numbers in. So let's say 3, let's say inches. 3 inches by 4 inches by 6 inches. So there is my length and width and height. I keep getting pop-ups on this computer. All you gotta do is multiply them together. So 6 times 4 times 3. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 3 is, if you don't know that off the top of your head, which I certainly don't, you just multiply it out. 24 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, carry your 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that would be 72 inches. Now this is not area. So we have a different exponent that we use for this. It would be inches cubed, because like I said, you're measuring how many blocks, how many cubes could fit inside this shape. and that would be 72 could fit inside this shape all the way around and fill it up all the way to the top and everything else. So let's do one more. Need to erase. Erase, erase, erase. Okay, I'm erasing some of my lines, but it's gonna be okay. So let's say that this is 2 inches. This is 7 inches, and this is, I don't know, 5 inches. So we got length times width times height. And it really doesn't matter what order you multiply them in, whatever it makes the most sense for you. For me, I'm going to go 5 times 2 times 7. Because in my mind, 5 times 2 is a lot easier to figure out than 7 times 2 or 7 times 5. That's just me. So I know that 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 7 is 70. So this one would be 70 inches cubed with that 3 there. Or if you had to write it out in word form, you'd write 70 cubic inches. I'm not going to write out inches because I think I'll run out of room. But that is how you find the volume of a rectangular prism. If you guys have any questions finishing up this last week of school, let us know. We will be more than happy to answer them for you because we miss you all. And comment below how you have enjoyed these math Zoom lessons. If they've been good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, let us know. Because who knows, maybe we can improve on them at some point if we ever decide to do like online stuff like this, even when school is back in normal session. Anyways, I will see you guys at the end of the week. Be safe. Have fun.